Hi friends, welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 things that I wish I knew when I first began practicing yoga that I feel every beginner should know. Hey, it's your girl Cierra back with another Bare Beauty yoga video, and today we're going to be discussing 5 things that I wish I knew when I first began practicing yoga that I feel every beginner should know. And by learning these things, it's going to help you gain confidence in yourself and your practice to help prevent injury and just to dive deeper into your journey and into yourself. So, if you're looking for more content like this where you're kind of a beginner to yoga, you don't know where to start, and you need help, and everything else that the yoga teachers are teaching is kind of too advanced for you, go ahead and subscribe down below because I'm going to be putting more content out here to help you propel on your journey forward. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and I hope you enjoy. One of the first things that I wish I knew when I first began practicing yoga is that blocks or props does not mean that you're weak. It actually means the quite opposite. When I first began practicing, I would go to yoga classes or I would do like online classes, and I wouldn't use props because I was like, I can go as far as into the stretch as the teacher, and I thought that that equaled good. But you're actually cheating yourself out of flexibility when you do that, because when you bend your knees, you allow yourself to go deeper into the stretch, or when you use blocks, you allow yourself to fully experience a pose. And when you go as far into the stretch as the teacher, it can cause injury, and you can also be cheating yourself out of that flexibility. So, really pay attention to your body whenever you're doing these stretches, because sometimes the blocks and the props and the blankets are needed to support your body in these poses. And just because you do one variation of a pose with blocks does not mean that that's not yoga or that's not the proper position. It just means that your body is being supported in these positions, so it's accessible to you and your body. So it's really hard to put your ego aside when you're first starting out in yoga, but yoga is really about just connecting with yourself, your body, and the breath. So anytime that you try to compare yourself to others or the teacher, and you think that you're not progressing in your practice, just know that that's not true, and that's part of the ego coming in, and that's what it's telling you. The only person you can compare yourself to is yourself. So a lot of the things that I like to do is to take videos or pictures of my practice so I can see how far I've come and I can see how far I progress. So yeah, that's tip number 1. Number 2, so the second thing that I wish I knew is that your muscles will be sore. When I first started practicing, I was like, what is this? I thought we were doing just a little stretchy stretch. But no, yoga is not just about stretching, it's about strength as well. And when you're doing some practices, you're going to be sweating and you're going to be physically depleted sometimes. So I just want to prepare you for that aspect of it. It is physically challenging, and there are variations and modifications of the poses if you're not able to do whatever the teacher is teaching, like I mentioned earlier. So the best tip that I have to offer for you is to stay consistent with this practice. When you're first starting off, do maybe 10 to 20 minute videos a day, and make sure you're practicing at least 4 to 5 times a week when you first start out. When you get better, no, I don't want to say better, but when you become more consistent in your practice, you're going to want to practice for longer. And when you're taking a yoga class, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. So that will give you a little bit of gauge of what you're working towards. And you never have to go up to 120 minutes if you don't want to. So just know that consistency is key here. And if you stay focused and you stay dedicated to your practice, because giving yourself this consistency in your practice is also going to transfer over into your life. So don't just think of it, oh, I'm working out and this is the only benefit that it's offering me. No, yoga has a bunch of different things to offer other than the physical practice. So just know that by showing up for yourself every day, you're going to see the results transfer over into your life, and it's going to be so amazing and so beautiful. I'm so excited and happy for you that you're beginning this journey. And yeah, I'm just so happy for you. All right. So number 3 is it's not always love and light. I know that you imagine all yoga teachers all zen and, just calm. And that's how we appear sometimes because we're holding space for other students that come into the class that are also having stressful times, going through anxiety, going through depression, or whatever they have going on in their lives. So it may appear that way on the outside, but we also have everything else going on in our lives too. So just know that it's not always gonna be very loving in the community of yoga because everybody has everything going on. And we're all spiritual beings having this human experience. So we're going to have reactions. We're going to have triggers. We're going to have things that come up that aren't so pretty. And this journey is about going into that darkness and loving that darkness and really embracing it so it can just melt away. And then, you're able to work through the next trigger. And it's not going to happen like right away. You're going to have these triggers come up over and over again, but that's where that grace and that patience and that love comes in. You're going to have to keep loving yourself through this process. So just know that there's nothing wrong with you. Like when I first started out, I thought there was something wrong with me because I was like, I thought I'm supposed to be zen. I thought I'm supposed to be this. I thought I'm supposed to be that. But no, you're a human being that needs to experience these emotions and let them go. And just know that you loving yourself through that experience will bring you to higher places. So yeah, that's number 3. And I just want to make you aware of that because it has been a big struggle for me on my journey to come to terms with that. So yeah, let's get into the next one. Number 4. So the 4th thing that I wish I knew is that you don't have to go into the furthest variation of a pose. And what I mean by that is that if you see the yoga teacher going into a pose a certain way and you're not able to do what the yoga teacher is doing, just know that there are other ways to do that pose. And if you want to see variations and modifications, I'm going to be putting a lot of those on this channel. So again, subscribe to this channel because I'm here to help you. By going into different variations and modifications, it's very difficult to understand which one is right for your body. So when a yoga teacher says, listen to your body and go into the pose or the variation that feels right for you, how are you supposed to do that if you don't know? Because a lot of the times yoga teachers don't give very many modifications in their classes because they have a lot of cues to get through. They have a lot of things running on in their mind. So they can't always cater to everyone that doesn't know the poses. So again, by learning the poses for yourself and by understanding which modifications and variations work for you, you're able to help your body into those poses. So yoga is a very consistent practice and it's very humbling. So if you fall off of your yoga practice and you expect to pick back up where you left off, yoga is going to tell you, no, you need to start from the very beginning and you need to use those props and blocks to help ease you back into your practice. You're not going to be able to pick back up where you left off just because you think that you can. Like, you need to take a step back and you need to understand that Your body is your vessel and you need to take care of it. So ease back into the practice whenever you fall off, and yoga is going to show you that again and again and again. Another important part that I want to touch on is that whenever you're going into these poses and you're feeling a sharp, twingy, maybe like pain that's like really intense, just know that that's probably not the right variation for you, or that's not the right like pose for you, and you need to find a way to modify it. So again, that involves listening to your body, and that involves you kind of knowing a little bit about yoga and a little bit about the practice, so you know which variation and modification works for you. So yeah, that's number 4. Let's get into the last one. Last but not least, number 5, the 5th thing that I wish I knew, the one you've all been waiting for, is that the yogi breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, is one of the most important things that I wish I knew when I first began my practice. And why do I feel like that's very important is because when you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, you're really centering yourself for that brain-body connection, and you're helping calm your nervous system while you're in these poses. If you practice yoga and you notice that your mind is everywhere and you can't focus, you're thinking about what you have to do, what you're gonna have for dinner, I don't know, just a lot of things that you're thinking of during your yoga practice instead of being present and right there on your mat, it's probably because you're not focusing on your yogi breath. And again, that yogi breath is in through your nose and out through your nose. Before I started my yoga teacher training, I was like everywhere. My brain was so scattered and I was so confused. I was like, I'm practicing yoga, I'm doing meditation, I'm doing all these things, but it's still not sticking. But then when I found out the yogi breath and in my class, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the thing that is changing how I practice. So if you're a beginner, remember to slow your breathing down and breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And if you need to slow down your practice, if you need to slow down the poses so you can get that breath right, then take that modification, slow that practice down, because you'll notice the benefits of doing that, because your mind will become calmer, you'll feel more zen after you practice, and the benefits will just increase so much. That brain-body connection is what yoga is all about, really. And it's really about coming home to you and your body. So there you have it. There's the 5 things that I wish I knew when I first began practicing yoga. Thank you for watching this video and staying to the end. Again, subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching. Ashe and Jai Bhagwan.